Hi, this is Mike Ignatoski, the creator of the GreenFox spreadsheet, the spreadsheet that uses Excel programming to make it behave like a computerized baseball scorebook or score sheet. It also automatically computes the game stats, which can be a big time saver. And even better, GreenFox can be configured to operate in one of three different league modes where it can track the cumulative stats for all players and teams in the league. In today's video, I'd like to cover what I think is the most exciting feature in GreenFox version 3.2, which is the ability to work on a GreenFox League project with a team or more people than just yourself. A lot of times you may not want to embark on a baseball sim project because the number of games you have to play is daunting and you don't feel like there's a good chance you could finish it. But maybe if you have one or two friends that might be interested in helping you out, that might make it much more achievable. So that's what GreenFox 3.2 allows, is that you can have more than one player playing games and capturing stats and results and then sharing them with the other team members so that you can all keep track of the entire league together. So let's see how that works. One more thing I want to say, because I believe it's really important before I demonstrate, is that this league or team play isn't just to work together on a single project that's like completing a team season or an entire baseball season, but you could also use the uh, same strategy for a league. If you had a four-person league and each person was willing to play their games using GreenFox, then let's say you wanted to have a 40 games, you play each team 20 times, 10 at home and 10 on the road. You could have each player play their 10 home games on their own, and you could then share the results with the other members, and then you'd all end up with the same league results and stats at the end. So I wanted to make sure that was clear that you could do it, you know, in a kind of competitive league format or completing a not necessarily a competitive project, but just on a sim project like playing an entire team season or replaying a team season or replaying an entire baseball season. So the first step in this process is to go to within your one copy of GreenFox, what I'm going to kind of call your main or master copy, and go to your league sheet and configure your league. Now in this video I'm not going to go over the details of how to configure the different types of leagues because there are already videos out there that I've created that explain how to do that in detail. But you can see here I've already created my league or configured it, and you can see in this example I'm using a historical team season league mode. The other options would be historical league season, like to play an entire historical season replay, or a custom league, which is basically whatever you want. But here I'm doing a historical team season, and I chose the 69 Mets. So this is already configured, and you can see here I've set my league name, my league ID, and everything's ready to go. And once I have all that set, I will save my spreadsheet and then make a copy for each person that's going to be joining me in this GreenFox League project. So for my specific example here, I'm just going to be working on this project with one other person. I'm just going to say it's my brother. So I've called my copy, you can see up here, this GreenFox 69 Mets Mike version, and I also have a copy that I gave to my brother Jim. So you can see he has his own copy. Now you can see here on the schedule we already played some games because I was testing this out. But let me jump back to my copy, and you can see here on the schedule I've played 6 games. So you can see here the results. And if I look at my brother's spreadsheet, Jim, he's played 5 games. Now these 3 games here, there's 3 game series between the Cardinals, are what I use to test this out. So that's why they're in both of ours. But you can see my brother and Jim's spreadsheet, these first 3 games against the Expos aren't played by the 69 Mets because I played those. But Jim played these 2 games against the Phillies, this 2-game series here, games 7 and 8. And so that's what we're going to kind of focus on, is in the Mike spreadsheet. I want to import his results for games 7 and 8. So I have all the rest of the games already. So how do we import those 2 games into my spreadsheet from his? So that's what we're going to see how to do. So step 1, I would say, is make a backup copy of your spreadsheet just in case something goes wrong. That's good advice for many things in life, but especially with software. So let's say I've already backed up I made a backup copy of my spreadsheet, and like I said, I want to import the results of this game 7 and 8 because those are games that are in my brother Jim's spreadsheet that aren't in mine. So the next step after you make a backup is to open up the other person's spreadsheet. So in your case, it may require them to either share the spreadsheet on a Google Docs or email it to you, or maybe you have some other kind of cloud sharing thing. But this process will require you to periodically send each other a copy of your spreadsheet. So each of the team league players can import the results from each other player's spreadsheet. So once you have it on your computer, you then have to open it. So you can see here, I can hover down here on my Excel sheet and Excel icon, and you can see that both spreadsheets are open. Mine, the Mike spreadsheet, and the Jim spreadsheet are both open. The next step is on the schedule sheet, which is where this happens. Here's this new button from version 3.2, which is import completed games. So that's what I'm going to click next. So it's important that you click on this import completed games on the spreadsheet where you want the games to, I guess, go into, where the games have not been played so far, but you want to bring the results from another spreadsheet into your spreadsheet. So you want to start at the place where the games aren't played that you want to bring in. So I'm going to click this import completed games button on my Mike spreadsheet. You can see over here on the Mike, I say import completed games. First thing it does is it gives me a little warning or tip that says that the other spreadsheet must be open, which is what we just talked about. And it mentions the backup copy that we also talked about. So it gives you a chance to bail out if you haven't made a copy or opened the other spreadsheet. Then it asks you if you want to continue. I'm going to say yes. Then it'll look through and see what other spreadsheets are out there. And you can see here it finds my brother Jim's spreadsheet. it's called 313, but I'll ignore that. But it's 69 Mets Gym, and it says, do you want to import games from that? Now, if I say no, it basically says I can't find any other open spreadsheets or workbooks, so the import operation is it's all over. All right, let's go back to, let's do it again now. We won't bail out. So yes, I want to continue. Yes, this is what I want to import from. Then it says what it found. It says 2 games found that could be imported. Would you like to import the stats and results for these games? These are the game ID values for the completed games to import. So these are the IDs. So if I look here, these IDs are these 2 games right here against the Phillies. And that is indeed ones I want to import. Now it's important to note that it doesn't, in this initial version, it doesn't let you pick and choose which ones to import. It basically finds the ones that the other spreadsheet has that your spreadsheet doesn't, and it'll list them all and says, I'll import all these. You can't just say, well, I only want one of them. Either pick them all or none. That may change in a newer version or a later version, but for now, that's how it works. So that may be a reason also to not wait till you have too many games before you try it, because maybe it's best to do it with just a couple games to make sure you're familiar with the process and comfortable with it. So anyway, we're ready to now say yes. Okay, so here's where it gets kind of exciting. It's showing me these 2 game IDs, and I'm going to say yes, import these. I click it, it goes through a few Excel backflips, and then it should give you a message for each game as it imports it. So you can see here I got a success. This first game, the game on April 14th, has been imported. I click OK. A few more backflips, somersaults, whatever it takes. Success. This is the second one. The game on April 15th between the Mets and the Phillies has been imported. Click OK. And then hopefully you'll get this message that says, fantastic, it basically worked. It says it completed the game import and the attempt appears successful. That's my disclaimer for nothing's guaranteed. So please review the league sheets to confirm that it worked as desired before continuing your GreenFox league. Especially check out the standings and the schedule. And your stats probably too. Then it says team game stats and all cumulative stats have not been calculated. So feel free to calculate them at your convenience as well as your league leaders. Enjoy. So what that means is when it imports from the other spreadsheet, it updates a few things. One is, let me just say okay here first. Let's first look at the schedule. So you can see here now these 2 games are completed. So it updates the schedule. It'll update up here also the number of games that were completed. If we go to the standings, so now there should be 8 games. Let's see. So now you can see the standings, and you can see when you're doing a league season or a team season, your team has these 3 asterisks. So you can see that the Mets are 3 and 5 right now. So that's 8 games. So the standings are up to date. So it updates the standings. It updated the schedule. And as far as the stats go, it only updates these first 2. The game player batting stats. But if we look down here, you can see, let's look at this game number here. So what we want to look for is games 7 and 8. So here's 7, and here's 8. So that looks good. And it's similar for the game player pitching stats. Here's game 7, and here's game 8. So those are the only 2 things it really updates. If we go to like the team ones, you can see here they're not listed. It only goes. These are only the 6 I had before I did the import, and the same with the team pitching. So here is where I would click, you know, compute compute these team stats, so I to get my stats up to date. So I'll just do that now. A few more exciting Excel gyrations, and it all looks good. And then similarly for the cumulative stats. So I'll finish this up by clicking the green button here to calculate all the cumulative stats for individual players, batters, pitchers, and teams. Excuse me. So we'll let the spreadsheet do its work, compute the league leaders. I'm going to say no right now, but we'll get there in a second. So if we now let's look at some of these cumulative player batting stats. So I just want to focus in on the Mets, since that's really what this replay is mainly about. So I'm going to do my filter here and just say, just show me the Mets. And you can see here, several of these players have played in 8 games, which tells me that this game 7 and 8 are being incorporated, which is what I want. And now I want to show these team batting stats. You can see here it shows the 8 games for the Mets. You can see through 8 games they're batting 241. The cumulative team pitching stats. Right here, the Mets, they're 3 and 5, but they have an ERA of 3.3, which is not bad. Now let's go to those league leaders and see how that works. So let's click the league leaders sheet down here at the bottom. Here's the leaders page. I'll click this. Let's just take a look and see. So Rusty Staub was batting 1,000 here somehow, but I'm not sure when. This is only through a couple of games. So let's recompute these. Wait a few seconds for the GreenFox magic drawing board. And here are the new updated stats. So you can see here, Rusty Staub is no longer batting 1,000. And all the various leaders have been calculated. So the league leaders are a little quirky because in a team season replay, all the teams aren't playing the same number of games, so the requirements are less, but it still works. And just as to kind of show off some of the league leader features, if I wanted to see how Ed Kranepool is doing across the board, if I click his name, it highlights the Ed Kranepools in the various stats if I wanted to see where he was. If I go down here to the pitching stuff, and let's see how Tom Seaver's doing. You can see where he ranks in the various leader categories. But anyway, that pretty much wraps it up. I'm going to jump back here to the schedule thing, but and similarly, I could then go to my brother could go to his spreadsheet if I send him my copy, and in his version, it would go down to the gym spreadsheet. If he ran this import, which I won't do right now, but it would do the same thing, it would say I found games 1, 2, and 3, and I could import those 3 into this. And then once we did that, effectively our spreadsheets would be synced up, and for us to continue this 1969 Mets schedule. So I hope that's helpful. I hope it's informative, and I hope that maybe gives you some I don't want to say new ideas, but maybe opens up some possibilities of projects that you might want to undertake now, because you don't have to complete them all by yourself. That you could still get the nice feature of the stats with the GreenFox spreadsheet, but you could incorporate the help of somebody else or multiple people to help you complete the project, whether it's something like this, or make a custom league and you could each have a copy of the spreadsheet, play your home games or however you want to divide it up, show your results, and complete your league that way. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and give me some comments if you have any questions. Well, that wraps up this GreenFox video. I hope you found it helpful. But either way, I'd appreciate any feedback, whether it's what you liked about the video or the spreadsheet, or things you didn't like about the video or spreadsheet, or ideas that you have to make either the videos or the spreadsheet to make it work better. I appreciate all the feedback. Thanks again for taking the time.